Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video. And before we get started, I just wanted to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe. So what I'm doing today is giving you 5 reasons why you should be thankful, or 5 things you could be thankful for as a New York Jets fan. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, to you and your Jets family. So coming in at number 1 on my list for things that I'm thankful for is Sam Darnold. He is the future of the New York Jets. He is probably the best quarterback that I've ever seen the Jets play with. And I've been watching football since 2003 religiously, I guess I would say, when I was 8 years old. That sounds about right. So I saw Chad Pennington play. I saw Brooks Bollinger play. I saw Kellen Clemens, Vinny Testaverde. The list goes on and on. Brett Favre, the good and the bad and the ugly. Mark Sanchez, Greg McElroy, Geno Smith, Bryce Petty, Ryan Fitzpatrick. The list goes on and on and on. And by far, Sam Darnold is the most talented. For example, he has 4 300-plus yard passing games in his career so far. In 21 games, I believe? Yes, 21 starts. Ryan Fitzpatrick only did that twice with the New York Jets. It took Mark Sanchez 34 starts to do it 4 times, and it took Chad Pennington 46 starts to do that 4 times. So Sam Darnold is out to a better start than any of those guys, and he makes throws that only the elite level quarterbacks could make, like Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes. Is he on that level yet? Absolutely not. He doesn't have anything close to that level of consistency, but he shows really, really bright flashes of what he could be. He puts up some really phenomenal numbers, like in the game against Green Bay last year, like this past week against Oakland. He does some things that really wow you. Not any other Jets quarterback really has done that since I've been watching anyway. And I'm sure the older folks are going to say the same thing. They haven't seen that since Joe Namath. And to me, he is the brightest spot with this New York Jets team. And he's only 22. He is 22 years old. Joe Burrow, who's going to be the number 1 pick in just a few months, Sam Darnold's still 6 months younger than Joe Burrow. That's crazy. That is crazy. They're essentially the same age. Wild stuff. Sam Darnold will only get better. Yes, there's probably going to be a couple more bumps in the road this year, but he is taking steps forward in his development, which is absolutely something that you want to see. Reason number 2 to be thankful is Joe Douglas and his drafting skills. So Joe Douglas came over from the Eagles to replace Mike Maccagnan. I wanted Mike Maccagnan fired after last year. They stuck with him, let him spend $100 million in free agency, and let him have one more draft, which is crazy because Mike Maccagnan is one of the worst drafters in recent NFL history. Just look at his rosters. There's no one left from the 2015 draft class. You have in the 2016 draft class, Jordan Jenkins and Lachlan Edwards. I'm pretty sure it was 2016. He might have been 17, but that doesn't even really matter at this point. We're splitting hairs. Then Jamal Adams, Marcus May, yeah, good picks. Nathan Shepard ended up turning into a little bit of something. Sam Darnold fell in his lap. Let's be real here. Quinnen Williams hasn't gotten off to the best start to his career, rather. Can he be better? Yes, he's only 21 years old. Not going to throw away the book on him just yet, but he hasn't had that immediate impact that you'd expect from a number 3 overall pick. And there's just been a ton of misses. We know the misses. Hackenberg was a huge miss. Devin Smith was a big miss. The list goes on and on. Darren Lee. You could pick and point to a number of things that Mike Maccagnan did wrong. But Joe Douglas comes from 2 organizations that have really good history with drafting. The Eagles, he learned under Howie Roseman, and the Baltimore Ravens, where he learned under Ozzie Newsome, who is a Hall of Fame general manager. Over the last few years with the Eagles, he was very involved in making the selections, and he helped build that 2017 Super Bowl winning roster. And what they did and what he did, you load up on defensive ends, like an outside edge rusher, corners, they drafted a ton of corners, they drafted offensive linemen, running backs in the mid rounds. These are all things that I like when it comes to roster building and where I like to spend my draft capital. In the first round, an edge rusher, a corner, an offensive lineman, all good things and good positions to draft because of their impact value on football games. He's not going to take a safety. He's not going to take a running back in the first round. And I'd be surprised if he took a wide receiver in the first round or an interior defensive lineman. The point is, he is definitely someone who has the track record in having good drafts in years gone by. Yes, he wasn't the one technically handing in the draft card, but you'd be naive to think that he didn't have big roles. He did. He was relied on a lot with the Ravens, and the Eagles in scouting and deciding on who they were going to take. Number 3 on my list to be thankful for is how quickly things change in the NFL. For instance, the Bills, the Colts, the Raiders, the 49ers, all those teams weren't supposed to be as good as what they are this year. And all of those teams have a legitimate chance to make the playoffs. And none of those teams really were all that good. Yes, the Colts last year, they made the playoffs, but that was with Andrew Luck. After Luck retired, it was going to be a doomsday scenario for this team. They're right in the mix. So realistically, things change on a year-to-year basis. It's almost impossible to imagine that a team can go a decade without making the playoffs, yet here we are with the Jets. But in this league, there's a ton that changes on a year-to-year basis. With a good draft, and with Sam Darnold taking a step forward in his development at age 23 next year, hey, maybe they overachieve. Their schedule is going to be tough. They're going to have to play the NFC West. They're going to have to play the AFC West too, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to be tough. It's going to be an uphill battle, but having a good quarterback, or having a quarterback who is better than the opposing team's quarterback more often than not, certainly increases your chances of winning football games. The Jets lacked that for years and years and years. Now it looks like they have at least a quarterback who is going to give you a chance to win every single week. The 4th thing that I'm thankful for is Tom Brady being 42 years old. And you're going to say, what? He's not even on the Jets. Why are you putting him on this list? And the reason for it is because he has tortured me for my entire football fandom. That's all I've known is Patriots dominance and Tom Brady being good. And him being 42, yeah, maybe he'll play to 45 years old, but I think we're starting to see signs of him slow down. And I'm not saying that he's done and going to fall off a cliff like this instance, but the last 2 weeks he's shown a little bit of a regression, and I think that obviously he's on the back nine of his career, and I think he's nearing the end here with the New England Patriots. So, yes, I know I'm not taking anything away from what the Patriots have done. They are a phenomenal, phenomenal organization that every NFL team should strive to be. But they're a lot closer to the end than they are to the beginning. And with a young core on this Jets team, I think they have the pieces to be that team to step up when the Patriots dynasty era is finally over, either next year or the year after, whenever that ends up being. And last, but certainly not least, I am thankful for Dave Gettleman. Thank you so much for passing on a quarterback, 2nd overall, and drafting a generational running back. For that, I am forever grateful. Let me know what you're thankful for in the comments, Jets related, and I'll get back at you. Or you can get at me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Have yourself a happy Thanksgiving.